The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, when Jesus entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came up to him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things, and who gave you this authority?" Jesus answered them, "I also will ask you a question. Then I will also tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, where was it from? From heaven or from men?" And they argued with one another. "If we say from heaven, he will say to us, 'Why then did you not believe in him?' But if we say from men, we are afraid of the multitude. For all hold that John was a prophet." So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And he said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things." The Gospel of the Lord. Do we play it safe by not telling the truth of what we believe? Quite clearly, we see this great example in this gospel reading. Jesus, knowing that these are people who have a hidden agenda, they ask a reasonable question. Jesus is doing wonderful things. People are following him. They are the elders and the priests. They have some kind of responsibility towards the people that they have been sent to serve. So it is a legitimate question. Whose authority? Jesus doesn't complain about that at all. But he wants to see and to prove to them what kind of hearts they have. And so that's why he asks them the question. John the Baptist, the baptism that he was given, where was it from? Heaven or from men? And instead of telling the truth the way they saw it, they started the argumentation. So truth had nothing to do with how they wanted to answer. It was only, if we say this, these are these consequences. If we say this, these are the consequences, and we want neither, so therefore we're going to say, we do not know. In actual fact, they probably did know. Because anything good, anything that promotes forgiveness and turning away from evil can only be from God. And yet they couldn't say that. They were worrying about their own safety. And so Jesus says, well, you're obviously not ready for the truth that I have to tell you, because the simple truth of somebody like John the Baptist, who's not God, you can't see that truth. You're not going to see the truth that I am trying to preach. In our own lives, how often do we compromise the real truth because we want to play it safe? When we look at the very sad situation of our country, wouldn't it be wonderful if people would simply tell the truth, the way it was and is, and allow that truth to work us into freedom? How much money in this country is being spent because the truth is being avoided? People are playing it safe. What about in divorces? I firmly believe that for more opportunities than not The only ones that really make a profit out of a divorce are the lawyers, because the truth is being compromised to be safe. But you and I, in our everyday lives, how often do we compromise the truth to be safe? There are so many occasions when we simply keep quiet, when we know the truth. St. John of the Cross, who we remember today, was just such a man. He always tried to speak the truth. And even as a priest, he was criticized and pushed down because of it. But by God's grace, through this incredible suffering of injustice, he was able to carry his cross of injustice. And he wrote many beautiful works. He's now a doctor of the church because he refused to compromise the truth that he saw and believed. Others were wanting to play it safe for the sake of worldly things, but not John of the Cross. How are we doing with telling the truth? Or do we play it safe? A quote from William Lloyd Garrison: "In proportion as we perceive and embrace the truth, we become just, heroic, magnanimous, divine." I'll read that again. In proportion as we perceive and embrace the truth, we become just, heroic, magnanimous, and divine. The truth is divine. The more we safeguard ourselves from the real truth, the less divine we can become, and the less we participate in the divine glory of Jesus Christ. Amen.